Hello everyone, I welcome you to this edition of XBRL Weekly News, and this is edition number 4 from NeoClarus. Let me first introduce myself. My name is Somnath Ray. I have been working in the XBRL field for the last 5 years. I'm a CPA with a diploma in IFRS. Now in this edition I'm going to start off with the topic on navigating the IFRS taxonomy series, and this is part 2. And this is with regard to the preparation of SEC filings for the foreign private issuers, and I'm also going to cover the data quality issues as detected by XBRL US. So in this part I'm going to cover IFRS 2, that is share-based payments, and we see that the reference to this standard is found in the extended link of the IFRS taxonomy, that is 834120. So the main objective of IFRS 2 share-based payments is to reflect or report the effects of share-based payment transactions, including expenses, with regard to transactions in which the share options are granted to employees in the profit or loss and the statement of financial position. So that's the main objective behind this standard. So about the scope. So the scope of IFRS 2 share-based payments is with regard to equity settled share-based payment transactions, cash settled share-based payment transactions, and transactions in which the entity receives the goods or services and the terms of arrangement provide either the entity or the supplier of those goods or services with a choice of whether the entity settles the transaction in cash or other assets or by issuing equity instruments. And about the recognition for IFRS 2 share-based payments, the entity shall recognize the goods or services received or acquired in a share-based payment transaction when it obtains the goods or as the services are received. The entity shall recognize a corresponding increase in equity if the goods or services were received in an equity settled share-based payment transaction. The entity shall recognize as a liability if the goods or services were acquired in a cash settled share-based payment transaction. The entity shall recognize as expenses when the goods or services received or acquired in a share-based payment transaction do not qualify for recognition as assets. So let's talk about the measurement. So it says that in case of employees, the entity shall measure at the fair value of the equity instruments granted at the grant date. The fair value is never remeasured, and the grant date fair value is recognized over the vesting period. In case of non-employees, it says that the measurement is done at the fair value of the goods or services received at the date the entity obtains the goods or receives the service. And it also says that if the fair value of the goods or services received cannot be estimated reliably, the measurement is done by reference to the fair value of the equity instruments granted. And in case of cash settled share-based payment transactions, it says that the measurement is done as a liability at the fair value at grant date, and the remeasurement of the fair value of the liability at each reporting period or at the reporting date and at the date of settlement, with any changes in fair value recognized in profit or loss for the period. And it also says that the liability is recognized over the vesting period as well. So that's all about what we need to know about the measurement with regard to IFRS 2 share-based payments. So let's look at the important disclosures of IFRS 2 share-based payments, which we need to model with the extended link 834120 of the IFRS taxonomy. So this is a list of the important disclosures which we can expect. So the first one is about the description of each type of share-based payment arrangement. The next one is the number and weighted average exercise price of share options for the following groups of options, which are like outstanding at the beginning of the period, granted during the period, forfeited, exercised, expired, outstanding at the end of the period, and exercisable at the end of the period. And there are also disclosures for share options exercised during the period, the weighted average share price at the date of exercise, and for share options outstanding at the end of the period, the range of exercise prices and the weighted average remaining contractual life. So that's all we need to know as far as IFRS 2 share-based payments is concerned. So let's look at the IFRS taxonomy extended link 834120. So we are looking at 834120 extended link of the notes, that is share-based payment transaction arrangements, and this is the IFRS taxonomy. So it says disclosure of share-based payment arrangements text block. So let's expand this node over here, and we see disclosure of terms and conditions of share-based payment arrangement, as we saw in the list of the disclosures which are required. And then if we expand this, we see a table, disclosure of terms and conditions of share-based payment arrangement table, and then there's an axis, type of share-based payment arrangements, and then we find the member, share-based payment arrangements member, and these are the line items for this table. Description of vesting requirements for share-based payment arrangement, description of maximum term of options granted for share-based payment arrangement, description of method of settlement for share-based payment arrangement, date of grant of share-based payment arrangement, number of instruments granted in share-based payment arrangement. So these are the line items for this table. And then we have this section or this text block on number of like on the disclosure of number and weighted average exercise prices of share options, and we have number of share options outstanding in share-based payment arrangement at beginning of the period, and share options granted, share options forfeited, share options exercised, share options expired, share options outstanding at the end of the period. So this is exactly what we saw in the disclosures in the PowerPoint slides. And then we have weighted average exercise price of share options outstanding in share-based payment arrangement at beginning of the period, and share options granted, share options forfeited, share options exercised, share options expired, share options outstanding, share options exercisable. So these are all the line items as we see. And then there is another table, disclosure of range of exercise prices of outstanding share options table, and we find a range axis, and range is member, bottom of range and top of range member. And then we have the line items, exercise price of outstanding share options, and there is one more table, disclosure of number and weighted average remaining contractual life of outstanding share options table, and there is like a range of exercise prices for outstanding share options axis, and ranges of exercise prices for outstanding share options member, and then we have the line items: number of share options outstanding in share-based payment arrangement, weighted average remaining contractual life of outstanding share options, and then there are other text blocks as well. So these are all the XBRL elements for this extended link on IFRS 2 share-based payment arrangements. So let us now go into the next topic, that is XBRL data quality issues as detected by XBRL US through their XBRL consistency suite. And we have actually opened up the SAP Lumira visual intelligence tool, and let me drag and drop one of these charts over here, and let me do some formatting, change the color to a different color, and let me expand this. So we are seeing that the invalid access member combination is 1.25 million. So that's a huge number, which is affecting the comparability of XBRL data. And then we have negative value reported for a concept that is expected to have a positive value that stands at 587,048. That's a huge number, and this is affecting the accuracy of the XBRL data and the financial semantics. And then we have incorrect date, which stands at 480,659. So that is affecting the accuracy of the XBRL data. And then we have required value that is not reported, so that stands at 455,318. So this is affecting the completeness of the XBRL data. And now let us look at the same numbers from a different chart. So let me pull one of these graphs, the bar graphs, and let's do some formatting. Let's change the color, and let us expand this. So we see the calculation error stands at 40,809, which is affecting the accuracy of the data. So this is a very serious error, and because this affects the financial semantics. And so some of the other errors are like change in base taxonomy, affect element usage, so that stands at 119,537, which is affecting the comparability of the data. And then we have some of the other major errors. Incorrect calculation weight used, so this is affecting the accuracy of the data, so that stands at 59,231. And then we have missing calculations, so that stands at 70,166. So that's affecting the accuracy of the XBRL data and the financial semantics. And then we have negative value reported for an extension concept, that stands at 17,944. So that's affecting the accuracy of the XBRL data. And then we have roll forward calculates incorrectly, that stands at 77,727. So that is affecting the accuracy of the XBRL data. And then we have value reported for a concept appears unreasonably large or small, so that stands at 178,523. So that is also affecting the accuracy of the data. So these are some of the major errors. So let us now look at the growth in these errors over a period of time. So let's pull one of these tree maps over here, and so we are seeing the increase in the errors from August 25th until today, that is September 19th. So we have duplicate extension concept, that is uh, duplicate extensions, that is extensions are being created in spite of having a standard US GAAP tag. So the growth over a period of 3 weeks is 17,279, so that's a fairly large number. And then we have invalid access member combination, and the growth for a period of 3 weeks is 13,517, and the growth for incorrect date is 6,410. And then negative value reported for a concept that is expected to have a positive value, the growth is 4,221, so that's a fairly large number for a period of 3 weeks. And then we have required value that is not reported. The growth in this error is 3,269 over a period of 3 weeks. And then we have context date is subsequent to the reported to the period reported, so the growth is 1,618, so that's a fairly large number. And then we have value reported for a concept appears unreasonably large or small, so the growth is 1,345 over a period of 3 weeks. So these are some of the major growth rates in the errors. So let us now go into so that's all about it for XBRL data quality issues as detected by XBRL US. So we in NeoClarus, we are constantly researching on the errors, and so NeoClarus is actually a technology company that is focused in the area of disclosure management solution, XBRL audit, and XBRL data services. And we have a team of experts and professionals from the technology field, and we have a group of accountants who are licensed CPAs and IFRS certified accountants who are highly experienced in interactive data modeling with the US GAAP and IFRS taxonomies. So, and about our services, we have XBRL disclosure services, XBRL audit services, and XBRL data services. So we have the NeoClarus iFile solution for the XBRL disclosure services, which is a web-based, collaborative, easy-to-use solution. And we have XBRL audit services. For that we have the NeoClarus iAudit solution, which validates the XBRL data and ensures the correctness of the XBRL instance documents before it is submitted to the external to the Edgar system. And we also have the NeoClarus iParser solution, which is for our XBRL data services. So that's all about it in edition number 4 in this edition. So thank you for watching, and if you have any questions you can call us at 408-796-1533, and you can also email me at somnath@neoclarus.com. So thank you so much, and see you soon in the next edition. Thank you very